Welcome back to the Grand Solar Minimum channel. Today is April 4th, 2018, and here in Buffalo it's February 63rd, 2018. Taking a look at today's current solar conditions, our solar wind speed is sitting at a 332.6 kilometers per second with a density of 10. No sunspots once again for April 4th. Again, that makes 3 days in a row here, a new stretch, and 55 days for the total of sunspotless days for 2018. Our KP indices are sitting right at a 1, and our 24-hour max is at a 2. And taking a look at our coronal hole here on the SDO, we see that coronal hole coming back around from the one in mid-March. The gash, it doesn't look quite as long as the old one, but still impressive in size. We also see some disturbances in the southern part of the region of our star. Let's take a closer look at this, shall we? As it turns to Earth facing, it does widen up a little bit, but it does not look anywhere as massive as it was earlier in March. Now, everybody's probably wondering why I said February 63rd. I've only been in Buffalo a couple years now, and I've seen just about everything as far as weather goes when it comes to the Buffalo area. And today was very, very interesting for several reasons. This is the Toledo area water levels at Lake Erie in Ohio. And noticed around, a little after 1 o'clock, you see a very, very low drop in water levels. This is inches above land, I believe. And it dropped record-wise. I don't know if this was a record or not. Mari, you did some research on this. Did you find that this was a record as far as it dropping like this?
I don't think it. I'm not 100%. I just am noting that we've had a huge swing today, basically, not the normal, and this was all driven by the wind.
All wind. And here you see lake levels at normal most of the day. We had some gusty winds in the morning. Mari and I made a trip out and took a look at this. I tell you guys, I'm glad I went. We went at the time where I think it was peaked at the most. But look how high Buffalo was at the same time that the Toledo side of Lake Erie. So Buffalo was over 90 inches in height as far as water levels. And, you know, Toledo was only in the several inches mark. So just interesting how the wind took the Lake Erie today and pushed it all the way up to New York, basically. And, you know, I don't know if you guys saw our live feed earlier today, but we ventured out and we got as close as we comfortably could. Mari is the real trooper here. She went face first into a wave. We were getting some footage at in Hamburg today, in Buffalo, and we were safely, as you see the footage right here, this was the easy part. We were standing here kind of looking at this, and guys, I've never seen the lake do this before, and I think what made it even a little more creepier, the way it was rolling, was with the ice. And remember, these inlets are a little more shallower, so there is there's going to be more ice. Now, the crazy part about this, also, is this the video where the snow comes down as well?
No, I have not gotten that second video. I had actually, we took so much footage, I broke it up into segments. So I'm working on another video which shows the freak transformation from sunny, crazy wind.
That's what I was getting ready to go into. Dark blizzard. It was weird. We're sitting there watching this unfold when Mari wants to catch some waves, and she's like, "Well, let's stay here. I want to catch a big wave hitting one of these cars." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm with you on that." And this is where we were sitting, actually. And in another video Mari will show you, we sat there for, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes. The sun came out, the sun went away, and the next thing you know, it was blizzard-like conditions for at least 5 minutes.
It was weird.
And then it stopped, and the sun came back out. And we got back to South Buffalo, and that's when things started getting a little crazy here. The wind was picking up a little bit more. The sun was out, and then we didn't really get snow. It was like an ice pellet type situation. It was weird. And then it did turn into snow for a little bit. So it's been just about every kind of weather that you can possibly imagine right now here in Buffalo, New York.
Warm.
Besides warm. Well, if you're standing directly in the sun, maybe for that 5 minutes that, you know, it was out, you might have gotten a little bit warm, but just a very interesting day. Now, also in the Buffalo area, thankfully we didn't have this to deal with. Look at this. And give credit to Joe Garvey via Storyful here, but he got this footage, and I think I heard on the Weather Channel that he was in somewhere in South Buffalo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we got very lucky. We are located in the heart of South Buffalo, folks. So very thankful for that. Going over to the Watchers, how can you not talk about snow-covered camels on April 4th or February 63rd in my book? Saudi Arabia covered in snow as weather witnessed a change in temperature slightly. The region experienced rain and snow for 6 hours, which covered the mountains and roads in white, including Al Hussein and Al Omar valleys, according to a newspaper out there. Several cities witnessed moderate rainfall, and this is, to me, these are telling images here. Snow-covered roads, nothing amazing here. Just, for them, this is crazy. Oh, we got some lightning. So they were experiencing some thunder snow out there, it looks like. Wow. Thunder snow in Saudi Arabia, folks. Check that out. These pictures are becoming way too... And by the way, these are absolutely beautiful pictures that we have got to look at right now. Thank you, Watchers.news, for your excellent reporting on this. Beautiful pictures here. But yeah, it's April, and we got snow on the ground here. But it's getting warm. We're warming, remember? Just breathtaking photos here, guys. I'm sorry I'm taking so long to go through these, but I've seen snow pictures in the desert before. This isn't our first rodeo with that, but these, it looks like a good inch or two, maybe a little bit more. Wet snow, probably packable as well. But just some incredible stuff in weather we have experienced. This is normal Buffalo weather up here for wintertime. Look at that. That would be hail. And it could have started off similar to how it started off here in Buffalo, where it wasn't hail, but it was pea-sized ice pellets. So very interesting weather today as well here in Buffalo. On top of that, April 4th, we've got snow in Saudi Arabia. See what else we got good over here at the Watchers today. There was a couple things I wanted to show off. Explosion, a new one detected at Cleveland volcano. This is 2 new volcanoes this week that we are seeing awakening now. A new explosion was detected on Alaska's Cleveland volcano on April 4th, 2018, prompting authorities to raise the alert level to watch and the aviation code to orange. It was a small explosion detected using local seismic and infrasound sensors, 11:55 UTC time today. Explosions from Cleveland typically produce relatively small volcanic ash clouds that dissipate within hours. No ash cloud from this event has been seen in satellite images, which are partly obscured by weather clouds. Yeah, Mari and I were watching some live NASA feed from the ISS, a mission, and it's funny they mentioned that their view is obscured by cloud coverage, because Mari and I were watching it, and there was a live chat with that, and we kept asking what happened to the blue sky. You couldn't see any blue whatsoever. It was like an ice ball. Everything was completely covered in clouds. Spotty, clear areas.
Like a snowball.
It did look like a snowball.
It was covered in
It was. So this volcano is monitored with a limited real-time seismic network and ability to detect precursory unrest that may lead into an explosive eruption. Rapid detection of an ash-producing eruption may be possible using a combination of seismic, infrasound, and lighting and satellite data. And again, they're going to have to rely on trying to look at this through the clouds, because there is very thick cloud coverage. And I saw another story too down here towards the end of this page. Let's load more articles, shall we? No, it's not that. It's this right here. I wanted to talk about a little bit more crop damage here. It looks like unseasonal heavy rains coupled with high-speed wind and hailstorm caused extensive damage to standing crops in nearly 55 hectares, which is 135 acres, in Telangana, India. Between April 1st and April 3rd of 2018, although the heavy rain brought ease to people from scorching temperatures, which has soared above 104 degrees Fahrenheit in several parts of the state, the rains also caused a lot of misery to farmers by damaging crops that were almost ready for harvest. Let's see if we've got an official number on what they're looking at crop loss-wise. In all, Patty and Moore, 45,000, about 111,000 acres, which is ready for harvesting, has been reported to be damaged. Similarly, it's a maize crop also suffered heavy damage, 12,500 acres. So far we've got around almost 130,000 acres of damaged crops here in India. More rains and hailstones are expected in the next 48 hours as per the forecast meteorological department. Once the rains subside, we will be able to assess the actual damage. So they don't have a total number right now, but let's just say we're in the very beginning stages of assessing everything, and when you've got 135,000 acres of damaged crops that are ready for harvest, that can't be good. Moving along now, I want to talk about cold records. You've got them here at iceageinfo.now. And he's got quite a few things. First, I want to go to the record snowfalls that we've had. He wanted to talk about the snow they saw in Wisconsin. 9.3 inches is the new record. The old record was 5.6. So they slaughtered that record. Green Bay, you smashed a record. 8.1 is the new record. 6.0 was the old one. Twin Cities, Minnesota, 7.5. You beat your record of 5.9. And La Crosse, Wisconsin, 6.7 inches. You beat your old total by about 0.7 of an inch. So the 5.3 inches of snow that fell in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, also set a new record, shattering the old record of 3.3 inches set in 1974. So it looks like the season of 74 is almost identical to what's happening here in 2018 with the rain and the snow and the tornado outbreaks. Here's additional, I guess we should say, honorable mentions here. Petoskey, Michigan, 12 inches. So you guys got a foot. Minneapolis, Minnesota, got 10.6. Elk Creek, Wisconsin, 9 inches. Sheboygan, Michigan, 8.5. Ledyard, Iowa, 8 inches. And St. Cloud, Minnesota, with 7.7. So lots of snow records to talk about very early here in April. Very silly in my opinion, but they're going to continue as we get into our forecast here just in a second. Record cold in Stockholm, and I'm just going to go through these real quick. Temperatures dropped sharply on a recent night in the Scandinavian Peninsula. April 3rd, Stockholm showed a record low of -7 Celsius, beating their old record of -6.6 Celsius set in 61. So they didn't really slaughter that record, but still beat a really old record over 60 years old. The daytime temperature, April 3rd, rose to about 7 degrees Celsius and was about 2.5 degrees below the climate norm. So I want to show here some more cold records broke. And of course, you could probably figure out Minnesota is the hometown for that. Fairmont, Minnesota, mercury dropped to 6 degrees Celsius. That's -14 Celsius. It was 6 degrees Fahrenheit. That shattered the old record low, which was -10. So to be talking about negative temperatures in the month of April, breaking low temperatures like that is insane to me. Alberta's cold snap, invading Wisconsin. That snap is making its way into northern Wisconsin. Let's go ahead and click on the link here to the weather report. Folks, 27 degrees in Barron County, Barron, Wisconsin. 28 degrees in Cameron, Wisconsin. And the hot spot, a balmy 31. That is your high temperature for the later of the day is 32 degrees. So cold everywhere. And there was one more cold record that he put up here that I wanted to talk. Ah, yeah, Alberta. I think this was talking about, yeah, he's talking about the still an amazing feat here. Fort McMurray and Cold Lake set new records as well. I didn't mention those two cities yesterday. -31.7 Celsius. and minus 21.7 Celsius. It says the temperature dropped 15 degrees within the hour. That's actually false. It dropped as much as 27 degrees within 1 hour. So crazy cold weather here in April. And the joke, me calling it February 63rd, folks, we got wind chills out there. It makes it feel like it's 19 degrees outside here in Buffalo. I don't know where you guys are at, but very cold evening. It went quickly from somewhat like spring to back to winter. Looking at the tropical tidbits report today, I'm going to look at a couple different things. First, let's go ahead and take a look at our ocean values today. Let's see how we're looking in the North Atlantic, if we're staying about the same or not. And we're slightly getting back closer to that baseline. So, you know, when I first made this announcement about these graphs here, I just wanted to point it out because the person who pointed out to me, David, you know, he hasn't seen these kind of drops that drastic before. So that was the only reason why I wanted to even bring this up today was...
Zoom in and scroll up.
Okay, sorry about that, folks. I'm trying to show you the... There we go. So there you see the values have risen closer and closer now to the baseline of 0. And the emphasis on this, and right now I'm going over some work. Actually, David sent me some more work that he did about this. But the basic message for this is that this is going to take a long time for these changes to happen. It's not going to be an overnight, day after tomorrow type scenario. This is going to be a very slow process, just a lot like how we're waiting on TSI values to drop below 1360. Same thing. So just wanted to give a quick little update on the anomaly there, and that temperatures seem to be rising back into the baseline area. But still, a sharp drop, something to watch in the future for sure. All right, so we go ahead and take a look at our tropical tidbits. United States, your northeast and northwest corners are wet. Everybody else right now, enjoy the break. We had severe weather that hammered the south yesterday in the Midwest. Parts of Ohio saw tornadoes. Large hail is reported along that Mississippi Valley area. Things have quieted down, thankfully. But here we are looking at the current system taking off from the East Coast. An even quieter day for everyone, it looks like here. April 5th, Thursday, just the beginning though, because as we get into the day, that atmospheric river starts to take shape, and that Pineapple Express is making its way into the Northwest and in Northern California. Look here by April 6th, folks. We are steady rain for the entire day and into Saturday as well. More rain in the Northwest expected. Pardon me. And then we take a look here in the Midwest. More flooding rains coming back to Mississippi and Ohio Valley. There could even be a possible icing event somewhere in Nebraska, Missouri, and possible southwest Illinois and southern Indiana as well as we start this storm system on Saturday. So Saturday, we're still dealing with the Pineapple Express on the west coast, and now we're looking at a major storm forming across the country. Zoom this into Saturday evening. This thing builds up a little bit of steam. The snow gets heavier towards the east coast. Still drenching rains in the south and the northwest. The Pineapple Express is well underway. As we move out through Saturday, we start to see some relief on the east coast as that snowstorm does move away off the coast. There is no chance for a nor'easter with this storm right here on the 7th and 8th. It is impressive. However, right about here is where we would have probably had to see that high pressure system in the Atlantic make its way up to the Greenland to be able to pull this storm up the coast like that for a nor'easter. However, since we have high pressure camping out in the middle of the Atlantic, this just goes off the coast and we do not have to deal with a nor'easter. Still have to deal with a good amount of snowfall though with this. As you look back here, as it's on the East Coast, Philadelphia, DC, you guys, New York City might even see some more snow, New Jersey. So I'm not saying we're not going to see any snow in that coastal region. It's just not going to be any kind of, you know, coastal flooding like we normally see with nor'easters. Meanwhile, taking back to the west coast on the 8th, we're still dealing with lots of moisture in Washington and Oregon as some of that atmospheric river breaks away and makes its way across the country. Look at this. Sunday, April 8th, heavy to moderate snow all the way across the country into Indiana, into Ohio Valley. But here's the good news. GFS is showing that this will lighten up by the time it gets to Ohio. And if it does make it into the Northeast, this is midweek next week, this all looks very light, 1 to 3 inches into the Northeast. We're probably going to be watching more of the rain event than we are this snow, but the rain kind of gets its act together right as it's making its exit off to the coast. So Monday, April 9th, the West Coast, you're finally drying out, and right before your next system comes in and starts inundating yourselves with water again and snow, but that's short-lived. Another system forming across the United States, and it's just a pattern here, wave after wave. One comes in, one goes out. One comes in, one goes out. So, very busy. This is the time of the year. Oh, 420 looks like it might be just all green event. So, we'll be watching that as well. Let's take a quick look at our our temperatures. Speaking about the all green event. So, the temperature situation, you know, I wish I had better news. The South, you guys are going to be warm. Anyone in Florida right now, you're in good shape. Texas as well, southern Texas, awesome. But anywhere else, Northeast, Midwest, Northern Plains, we're still dealing with winter-like temperatures all the way through about close to the 12th of April. Now you start to see a little bit of push of that mild air trying to make its way in and just, you know, find somewhere to camp and stay. Let's hope. By the time we get to April 20th, we shouldn't be freezing anymore for daytime highs. So there is light at the end of the tunnel, folks. I promise. Mari, how you doing?
Just like, I love you guys in the chat. You guys are cracking me up. We're talking about, you know, penguins, delicacies, poutine, you know, Canadian stuff, penguin poutine, penguin and chips. You know?
Sounds like a good time in there, guys.
There was a question.
I forgot my swimming trunk, so I can't come in.
Someone wanted to know what penguin tasted like, since apparently we have to adjust to Arctic levels of, you know.
Well, I think we're going to have to start eating whale blubber. I don't know if penguin is eatable. I'm not sure, but... All right, folks, that's going to do it for us tonight. We just wanted to get a quick update involved. We really appreciate everybody tuning in and watching our update tonight. Please like and share and subscribe. Be on the lookout. Mari's putting together another video, and this footage is going to show the snow that just came out of nowhere. You saw it getting dark, and then bam, for 5 minutes, it was like blizzard conditions. The snow was sideways. So be on the lookout for that. All right, guys, we'll talk soon.